If you're looking at your car right now and you're going, that's way too much lift, it's because you haven't rolled the car around. Hey guys, welcome back to HRG TV. This is a 2016 Subaru Crosstrek that we actually bought for the purposes of making lift kits and other parts. But this is HRG's car. We bought this specifically to do this. And today we're going to show you how to do the 2-inch lift kit, which as you can see is already installed. We've been testing this car. It's been on here for 10,000 miles now with no issues yet. Alignment is great, tires are wearing evenly. So those are all things to consider when you want to shop lift kits. But this lift kit is available right now at HRGOffroad.com. We're going to take the lift kit back off and take you through the installation process today. All right, so for the front, you're going to need a small array of tools. Really simple on Subarus. You just need a couple of sizes. In fact, you really only need 2 sizes. You need a 19 and a 12. We use this one for just getting leverage to tighten the nuts on the spacers themselves. An impact, 3/8" ratchet, your main bolts, and then your lug nuts. And then a pair of pliers to take the ABS wire off, and then your 2 front spacers. That's really it for doing the front of the Crosstrek. All right, so as you can see, the top of these struts turn, and these spacers have to be mounted a certain way. And unfortunately, these 3 bolts are equal distance, so you could mount it 3 different ways. There's only one correct way to do this, and that is with the L facing the front. So if you're standing at the front of the car facing this way, you should read it upright like that. And I know this is confusing for a lot of people, so I have to say it in every video. L is for driver's side, R is for passenger side in US models. So basically, you're gonna mount it like this, and if you mount it wrong, the camber and caster correction that's built into this spacer will also be wrong. There it is. Now, if you'll notice, these bolts are actually different. The top and bottom one are slightly different. The top one has this lobe. This is a camber bolt, a factory camber bolt, and this does go in the top. So the bottom one is just going to be a regular bolt, and if you didn't notice taking them out, that's why I'm pointing this out to you, is so that you know that the camber bolt is the one that goes up here, and that is what gives you your camber adjustment. All right, we're back on the Crosstrek. It's actually been a year since we did this installation, and somehow we lost the footage for the rear part, so we took it all back off. We're about to put it all back on for you. So, you know, we've done this installation twice now. You got a nut right here, then there's a bolt right there, like way up in there. And you gotta watch this one because it's kind of at an angle, like a weird angle, and you can easily strip it out. Don't ask me how I know. And then this one here. And then I think one more nut right here. Now, obviously we've had this off before, so I suspect there actually might be, I think there might actually be a plastic clip that's supposed to go right here, but it's long gone. And you'll see why in a second, but we'll just pull these off on both sides. Okay, got somewhere safe. So we've got the 2 here, 1 there, and then 2 more right there to take off. I said 2 more, it's actually just 1 more. And then same thing on this side. 2 here. And then 2 here. Don't need those where we're going. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and support the weight of the subframe with this screw jack right here. And it's perfectly acceptable to support the weight right there, which is what we're gonna do. I'll time lapse this. Okay, there we go. All right, now we can go ahead and start taking the bolts out for the subframe. We're gonna do that one at a time. We're gonna temporarily thread in the new bolts. This bolt has been in the car for a year. So the ones you're gonna put in are gonna look brand new. But we're just gonna put it in temporarily so that it keeps everything in alignment and all that. These bolts obviously are 2 inches longer than stock, so you won't be able to tighten them up all the way anyway. Sure, most of you watching will know this, but if you didn't, a longer extension actually takes away power on your impact. So I'm gonna try a shorter one to see if that does it. Put the new one in. And we're not worrying about the washers and brackets and all that right now because these are just gonna come right back out in just a few minutes. There you go. Now we're supported, so don't worry about it. You know, it's gonna come down some, but it's not gonna come down further than that bolt right there. Somewhat alarming to some people to see it falling down like that, but remember, you're supported by the other 3 bolts. It's not gonna come down on you. So now we can go ahead and start putting in the spacers. And we're gonna have to drop it a little bit. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's see if that's enough. Yeah, there you go. Put your spacer there and then put the bolt through. We'll wait to tighten these until we have them all in. All right, let's just see where that bolt is going. It doesn't want to go in. Leave it a little loose. Okay. So I didn't tighten these big bolts because we still have to position these brackets. Yeah. So if you have the body armor rock sliders, or I guess the Revo rock sliders or whatever, those are gonna bolt on to this piece here. The rock sliders actually bolt in. This is only they're only 2018 and up, but the chassis is 2016 and they didn't really change them. So the thing is, with the rock sliders, all you have to do is bolt the rock sliders between here and here. So this whole bracket will actually mount on the top of the rock slider. So you wouldn't use these spacers in that instance if you had the rock sliders already. So, but these do come with the kit anyway. I've done a lot of testing with this thing in the last year or so, and it actually does really good. Very surprising. I think this Crosstrek's biggest strength is its ground clearance. Like going through most of the trails we went through, it never bottomed out. I mean, we hit like a couple of times, maybe just a little tiny bit, but it just did it. It was amazing. All right, let's finish this up. All right, we're gonna go ahead and put these panels back on. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that these are probably not gonna do much when it comes to protection. I mean, they might do something, but let's face it, this is really for aerodynamics more than anything. But, reason I'm saying that is if you want to just leave this off, it probably wouldn't hurt anything. But we're gonna put them back on because we're thorough. All right, so I think what I'm gonna do, and you don't have to do this, obviously we didn't do it in the original install, but I think I'm gonna cut that tab off right there because it's kind of in the way. So I'm just gonna slice that up. Now that should fit better. Yeah, that fits a lot better. Okay. Now this rubber piece is also in the way. I think I'm gonna just tuck that up above right there. Now it's not in the way. Okay. And just reattach this with the factory hardware. We'll wait to tighten it up. Okay, so we're gonna use 1.5-inch spacers here instead of 2-inch. Obviously everything else has dropped 2 inches, but with this hanging down, I wanted to get as much clearance underneath here as possible, so I put 1.5 here. It doesn't really affect anything. It just gives you that little bit of extra room. And just repeat that for the other side. Never get behind myself, but I do get ahead of myself a lot. Dad jokes. Okay, is this backwards? No. Just not looking at it right. Come on. There it goes. I knew it would see it my way eventually. We're gonna go ahead and torque these to 85 foot-pounds. I don't think it hurts to go tighter. We're gonna go ahead, set our torque wrench, and then give her a good torquing, you know what I mean? Okay. That's the rear subframe done. All right, we're gonna move on to doing the rear spacers. Am I forgetting anything? Yes, I am. One last thing we're gonna do before we do the spacers is the muffler hangers. So your Crosstrek is gonna have 3 muffler hangers back here, and they're gonna be too short because if you leave the factory ones on, it can actually touch right here and vibrate, and we don't want that. So these are already off because, like I said, this thing's been lifted for a year and we don't have the original exhaust hangers anymore. But if you look up here, you're gonna have one on this side, and there's a special tool that pops them right off. This is amazing if you've never used one, but this is gonna get your exhaust isolators off of there. So your exhaust isolators are gonna look like that out of the box, but I'm actually gonna reuse the ones we had on there before. So there's nothing wrong with them. So basically just press it on, and then I think we're gonna go for the second, maybe the third hole. Yeah, let's just go for the bottom one there because it's 2 inches dropped, and I think that gets us right where we need to be. Spray a little bit of WD-40 encouragement on there. There you go. Same thing on this side, you've got 2 more. You know what it is, I'm not tall enough. I gotta bring the damn thing down. Yeah. I'm like reaching up. All right, so I can demonstrate this tool real quick. It just does that. It's so cool. That thing almost hit me in the face. go. Okay. And there you have it. Now we can move on to the spacers. Now remember, this is a strut. It's not a spring under tension. The strut is, all the tension is contained within the strut. So you don't have to worry about like releasing pressure on the suspension on this particular style. We can just go ahead and take the bolts out. Same thing right here. Sway bar end link has to come off as well. And then we're gonna loosen that up. Just loosen it a little bit, and then this drops. Same thing on the other side. Little word of advice, if you're watching this and thinking about doing a lift kit, now's the time to check all of these bushings and sway bar end links and things like that, because you've already got the car apart, you might as well replace them. This is almost a 10-year-old car with 130,000 miles on it. So these type of things are gonna become more and more common as the years go on of being bad. So it's better to have the parts ahead of time when you go into doing the lift kit, to have them just to put in when you're doing all this at the same time, rather than putting the lift kit in and then finding out you got to buy all those parts. All right, we're gonna go ahead and drop the car down, and all you have left is the 2 bolts that hold this in from the top. You stop before it hits the ground, obviously.
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah, I'm trying to, cut it close. Oh, this doesn't have a power. I was waiting for it to just go up on its own. Okay, pull this out. And then this little pull tab here. This should just slide out. There we go. Put that down carefully. We got some foam. Get that out. Yeah, there's just little tabs. I think that one was broken, but this pops up like that, and then you just move this out of the way. You basically just got these 2 covers. Pull these off. This is stuck though. I don't know why that's not coming out. Oh, just pull this up then. Okay, see how that interlocks? I was doing it wrong, but just pull that up and then it releases it. When in doubt, just be gentle with plastic so you don't crack it. Take what we learned on the other side and apply it here. Pick this up and then it releases it. It should come out better. There you go. Damn it, dude. I was trying to be so careful. Oh well. We'll just cut that out in post. I know, right? What an idiot, dude. I just said be careful and then freaking broke it. Fucking clown. Okay, now you're gonna have someone catch it for you. Or if you're like me, you just try to catch it. Yeah, you think you can catch it or just do one or the other? All right, how about you pull the trigger on the gun then? And I'll catch it. Keep going.
okay.
That's it. Thanks, cameraman. You're welcome, Mr. Huffman. Also want to illustrate another thing here. Something that we do, I don't know if other companies do, I'm sure they do, but we're always trying to improve our products, right? We try to always be better than we used to be. So this is the spacer that was in the car for the last year. This was made in early 2024, right? So as you can see, it's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with this at all. But we've updated the design to this now. So you have like a star, and you can see how the centers interlock with the plates so that it can't be made incorrectly. I mean, these were made on a jig, but there's a little bit of margin of error putting it together. But with this, there is no margin of error. It's perfect every single time because of the design. So it's a little bit of an improvement that we did. I'm just tooting my own horn here, I guess, but. little trick I show everyone on how to get some torque on these nuts right here. You basically just are pushing against whatever grip you have on your hand. And that's fine, you can get them pretty tight. But to really torque these down, you're gonna take a second wrench and lock it in place like that. And then you can press against that for your leverage. So you can get it a lot tighter that way. All right, just put it back in. I guess I'm gonna need another person, huh? Okay, let me grab another person. Push it on up. Yeah, let's do the other side real quick. There he goes. All right, now we can go ahead and put everything back in like it was. The plastic, foam, and all this crap. Well, the little plastic things broken, I guess. I don't know, whatever. These little plugs won't take getting removed a couple of times. It's a one-time deal. Oh shoot, I should have put the things on first. Dang.
Oh my gosh.
I'm getting behind myself again. I mean, yeah. There it is. Okay, now we can go ahead and start reassembling. Put everything back where it was. And overall, it's a really easy job. I remember talking to a guy on the phone recently. It almost turned into an argument, but he was trying to tell me that these kind of cars are not designed to be lifted. And I was like, I mean, why? I guess he thought maybe because it was so difficult to do the installation, but to be honest, this is so easy. I mean, the only thing we really had to cut was that little bit of plastic right there. Everything else is literally unbolt, put in, bolt back on. And the car doesn't, it's an amazing upgrade. I mean, these cars are already awesome, but there's a lot of people that don't believe in this kind of thing. It's kind of crazy. The earth is flat too, by the way. Not really. Okay. Now, this is one part where we'll have to compress the suspension a little bit. Actually, let's not. We have to do this sway bar end link first. Because remember, the sway bar connects both of these together. So if one goes up, the sway bar picks the other side up as well to an extent. So you want to go ahead and put this side back together as well, and then we'll do that. I mean, lifting Subarus isn't new. It's not like we're coming up with something. I mean, ADF's been doing this for many, many years. There's a couple other companies that have been doing it for many years too. So it's not like we're thinking of stuff that didn't exist. We're just doing it better, that's all. Okay. Okay. Looking good, looking good. One more bolt on each side, and then a good bolt check all around, and we'll be done with this job. Okay. Now this might be a little bit tricky with a pole jack like this. It might be easier with a floor jack. The reason being is a floor jack has wheels, and you can actually push this forward and back as needed to line up with this, and you can't do that with the pole jack. So you kind of have to just get it right from the beginning, and it's harder to do than you think, but we're going to give it a shot. I think we might be able to do it. It's close. think I need a pry bar for this. Okay, we're almost there. Look at that. Oh yeah, this is real close. All right, we're gonna go ahead and try to straighten that out. Look at that. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you do that. See how I just used a screwdriver and kind of pried it into place? I'm not using a whole lot of pressure. This outer bushing right here is like a swivel bushing, so it's very compliant. You can move it around and it's very easy to get it lined up. And then just throw the nut on. And if you notice, I'm tightening all these bolts with weight on the suspension. We got a good bit of weight on this, and what that does is all the bushings are then locked in place at basically what would be ride height. So it helps the bushings last a little longer. Pretty much it. Okay, we'll do a little torquey. There we go. There it is. What's left, Hayden? Put the wheels on? Oh, the brake line, yes. Yes, no, I don't have to bend it, but I do have to show putting it on. Glad you reminded me. As you can see, we've made somewhat of an error. We forgot to put the brake line extension bracket in before we did all this. So there's a little bit of tension on this, so we're gonna go ahead and take that off. And we're gonna put our brake line adapter in there. Basically, we're gonna install a 2-inch brake line bracket extension. So that's gonna go in place where the old one was. And then we're going to bolt it to it right there. The old finger wrench on that one. That gives it plenty of slack. Okay. Oh, I should have dropped it more. Yeah. I have to lift that tire up pretty high. So I wanted you guys to notice something. We just dropped it off of the lift, and as you can see, there is a giant fender gap. What you need to understand about that is when it's lifted up, the tires drop and then they go inward like this because of the geometry of the suspension. So basically, when you drop it off the lift, the bottoms of the tires are kind of stuck on the floor, and it doesn't allow the suspension to settle back out into its ride height. So if you're looking at your car right now and you're going, that's way too much lift, it's because you haven't rolled the car around. Oh my God, you think that was a bug too? I saw it moving, I was like, is that a bug? Freaked me out, okay. All right guys, that pretty much wraps it up for the installation. Now I want to talk to you about the tire sizes you can put on your Crosstrek after it's lifted. Now this one we went with about as big as you could possibly go. This is a 235/75 15. This is like a 29-inch tire. So this is a Method MR704 wheel, 15/7 plus 15 offset. So it's a little bit aggressive for this setup. You would probably have better luck fitting this tire with a wheel that has a little bit more positive offset, because these do still tend to rub, but we're okay with that because we're just off-roading. Good job. I would probably recommend doing like a 225/75 15 just to avoid that. but you got to admit this does look pretty good on here. Regardless of that, I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of tire sizes up on the screen right now, because as you know, these don't come with 15-inch wheels, they come with 18-inch wheels. So just take a look on the screen, there'll be some sizes, and that way you can just go ahead and put some tires on your stock wheels and be done with it. So as far as clearance, this thing is super high up off the ground. You're talking 11 inches to the lowest point underneath this. And that pretty much carries through all the way to the back. All right, one more important thing to talk about on the Crosstrek. It is essential that you get an alignment done after the lift kit is installed. Even though this thing would drive down the road just fine, it doesn't pull, it won't act funny, it doesn't matter, the tires are not gonna be perfectly in alignment. Everything is in a different place than it was, and these things have a complex suspension system, so you do have to get an alignment, and if you don't get one, the tires will wear out really fast. You'll lose a lot more miles per gallon. With that being said, we've had this lift kit on here for a full year now. It's still getting about 30 to 31 miles to the gallon with these tires and this lift on it. So that just goes to show it doesn't affect it all that much. I think it was getting like 33, 34 when it was all stock, but still, to look like this and to be able to do what it does off-road is a small price to pay for a little bit of a drop in the mileage. And with all that said, I appreciate you guys watching all the way to the end, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey guys, welcome back to HRG Offroad, and today we're gonna work on this beautiful 2016, what the fuck is this? Outback. Outback? No, it's not an Outback. Hey guys, welcome back to HRG TV. This is our brand new 2016. All right, that pretty much wraps it up for the installation. I appreciate you guys watching the entire video. It's not the end of the video. Okay, let me rephrase that. All right. All right guys, that pretty much wraps it up for the